Highway team. Welcome to the webinar. I'm Diana. Behind the scenes here too, you have Dan Habib with me, and then some special guests on the Loan Atlas side. This is our second session in our Highway Training by the Loan Atlas team. And today's topic is all about list reports and how you're going to be able to use the list reports account you have to gain more referral relationships, find more fruitful referral relationships, and really help nurture them so you can continue, getting each other business and strengthening those relationships. So with me today, I have Josh Metal, Darren Phyllis, and although Michael Belfort's name says Josh Metal, we have Michael Belfort with us, and Edgardo Ballantyne is due to join us shortly. So gents, take it away. Everyone use the chat box or the Q&A box for any questions you have, and Dan and I will interject when needed.
Thanks, Diana. Thanks, Dan. Hello, MBS Highway community. It's so great to be with you. Yeah, we are going to do a deep dive on list reports, and you all are in for a treat because we have three mortgage advisors that are absolutely crushing it in their business right now, and they're using list reports at a very tactical, intentional, and productive way. So if you've had list reports, but you haven't really monetized it to its fullest extent, or if you've been thinking about implementing list reports, this is the kickstart that you needed to put this into high gear. And as we're kind of rolling into December, thinking about our business plan for 2026, I honestly believe if this isn't a part of your business plan, like if this isn't a pillar of business lead generation and referral partner relationship generation, I think you're missing out. I think that there is a pillar of business you can build around that, and we're going to dissect how these incredible mortgage advisors are using it productively and hopefully teach you a lot over the next 57 minutes. So without further ado, guys, it's great to see you. Mike, how the heck are you? Darren, how the heck are you?
Good. Now that I'm no longer Josh Metal.
Ah,
Just kidding.
yeah.
I was honored to have the name, and I somehow showed up as Josh Metal. You're my superhero, brother. I'm doing well, though.
Well,
Thank you for having me, guys. Hi, Diana. Hey, Dan. Good to see y'all.
great
Great
to
to
have you
see
here.
you.
Doing great, team. Here, excited to share some of the things we're doing to win.
Well, let's start with you, Darren, if you don't
Sure.
mind.
Yeah, of course.
I know you have picked up this tool, implemented it, and actually have realtor relationships that you've gained from the how you've executed around this tool
Yep.
and loans that you've closed. So why don't
Yeah.
we just kind of start at a high level? There's a lot in list reports. And I actually think that's some of the reason why people sometimes get lost in list reports. So let's just narrow it down to like, what are the couple of things inside of list reports that you're using, daily, weekly, monthly that
Sure.
you're monetizing?
Sure. I think the best way to do it, if you guys are cool with this, I can just jump in and share you and kind of run you through it at a high level. You be good for
That's
that?
great. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
cool. I'm gonna share how I use this. Forgive me while I look away from the camera while I'm looking down my other screen here to show you guys. So the first thing I do is I want to identify who I want to work with at a high level. And I'm pretty when I started this strategy, I wanted to keep it as close to home, like physically as possible, because I wanted to work in my community with the people that I want to develop relationships with and be known well with and etc. So I go in here and I type in the zip code, search the agent, and then I sort them by the total sales in the last 12 months. And I would pick like, hey, I don't want to work with anybody unless they're doing 20 buy sides a year. That's just kind of the number that I've chosen as the client or the real estate professional that I'm interviewing that I want to potentially work with. So I go through here and I do that and I find somebody and say I click on this, this fellow's name and I get as much intel that I can around this agent. And this is my starting point. So I'm looking, how many buy side transactions, how many listings he's had, whatever. I get as much intel as I can. There's a lot of information in here. Okay. And then I'm going to take whatever I learn about him here and I'm going to go on social and I'm going to learn about him to see if I jive with this person. Because if they don't have a social presence, that concerns me a little bit. But I'm just trying to learn as much as I can. Okay. And then once I do that intel and I've decided that I want to work with this guy, I've followed him. Okay. So I want to show you that. Okay. I'm following this agent. And now this agent is showing up on my list of intel or the updates that I'm getting by email that there's activity with him, etc. What I do next is on my Fridays, I'm going to go and try to pick up a listing that this agent is at. And Josh, I think you coined this amazing. I don't know where you said this, but you said, the one place you don't need to have an appointment to meet a real estate agent is at an open house. So
Right.
I'm going to intentionally go out and meet this agent or somebody on the team. And so what I'm going to look here is like, okay, when does this guy have an open house in my area here? And I'm going to sort it by days on market, by oldest, because I think that there's a strategy that I can do to help him potentially. And look at that. Here's his name. 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 And these days on market are pretty high, right? So I'm going to look for a property I think that I could serve him best at. And here's a sweet spot, 979. I know I could crush at this price, okay, as a mortgage professional. This one hasn't been on the market too long, but it's enough to where I can go in and have a conversation about, hey, don't drop the price on this thing. Let's talk about another strategy, okay? So I'm going to stop sharing for just a second. And so what I'll do now, now that I have this identified, is I'm going to put together I call it the agent open house toolkit. And I use all the tools from MBS Highway. I'm using the loan comparison tool, real estate report card, cost of waiting. Depending if it's an investment property, I put together the investment tool. I'm putting this together. And if I've never met this guy before, which I probably haven't, here's what I do every single time. And the response has been the same every single time. This is my little golden thing here. I walk in to the open house with a bag. Okay. And if they're busy, I just step away and say, no, I'm just looking around. And they come to me. And if I recognize the person, I'll go, hey, Bill. And they'll look at me kind of like, what? And I go, I brought you a present. And that's an immediate, bring the guard down immediately. Like, what do you mean you brought me a present? I'm like, look, my name's Darren Phyllis. I'm with my company name. And I really wanted to meet you. And so I brought you a gift. It's got some snacks in here, and I'll show them like that sparkling water and some cookies and stuff like that. But what I really want you to focus on, which I think is really important, if you got a couple of minutes, is I put this together for you. And it's personalized. It's got his name on it, his logo. This also has a handwritten note, his name on it.
What
It
is it?
says
What does the handwritten note say on the outside? I'm
it says,
totally.
okay, so it says happy open house, Bill. A little something to help make your open house a bit more enjoyable. And then it says, warning, working with professionals might make you wealthy. Then on the back, I go, I hope this bag makes your day a little more sparkling, just like the water inside. Okay. And inside it has sparkling water, cookies, some Kind bars, and a bag of popcorn. Okay. So it's like these guys don't eat or anything. So they really do appreciate this. It's a genuine thing. They really do appreciate it. But then I have this, which is made for them. And it's all the MBS Highway tools. And I just say, hey, look, you got a couple minutes. I want to show this to you. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I want to show you what I put together. And it has this, I make this as like a little tent. This is the sign writer that's in ListReports. And I make it like a little tent. And I explain to them what it is. I'm trying to give them something that maybe they'll use right there. I show them some high level stuff of like the demographics. They've never seen stuff like this, most of them, right? It has the loan comparison tool, and I go through it real quick if they have time, and I just explain it a little bit. It has a real estate report card as well. And then when I'm done, because I don't want to take up too much time at the open house, because I'm kind of like invading their space. But I've definitely created, I've broken this silence. Like they know who I am now. It's very unique, very different than anybody else who's come in, and I'm bringing them something of value. And then I will say, it's great to meet you. I'll tell them I'm going to give you a call to set some time aside to see if there's an opportunity for us to do business together. And then as soon as I get in my car, I will grab my cell phone and I will do a video recording. This may sound creepy to some of you guys. And then when I'm saying it out loud, maybe it is a little creepy, but it works. I will do a video and say, hey, Bill, it was really nice meeting you. I hope you enjoy the snacks. I'm going to give you a call in a couple days and we can talk about what I prepared. I give them the phone call. And then you can tell right away too, I'm really interviewing them. I want to see how they jive, if they pay attention to the detail that I put into this and the energy. And most people truly appreciate the attention to detail. Like, oh my God, my name's on there. Like I really spent time to do it, right? And if they don't jive with it, then I'm like, okay, I mean, I'll still try to call, but if you can just tell, you can feel it. It's a great way to feel out if this is somebody that you want to have a relationship with for, working together. And that's it, man. And the one story that I want to, end this with, I don't want to take up too much time, is I did this with an agent. This is the first one I did. And this is when I was with you guys in the beginning with Tribe. Okay. And I took all the things you're teaching me, and I went out the first one, man. And I was really looking for this person. I used all these tools, and she was like blown away, blown away. She's the number one Redfin agent in West LA. I like went fishing for a big one, right? And so like, and she was blown away, and she didn't understand it. And I'm like, well, I didn't do a good job explaining it, but whatever. She called me on a Saturday night. I think she was a little drunk on sake or whatever. And she goes, hey, man. And I was like trying to get the appointment, whatever. And she goes, hey, can you lend for somebody who's in the marijuana business? I go, well, it depends. And she goes, well, W-2 employee, et cetera. I'm like, yeah, we can do it. And it gave me an opportunity. We did the deal. We did a lot of business since then, but it all started with me doing a search on ListReports for an agent who did 20 deals in a year. And her name was like on the top of the list. And the rest is history with that. So it's been awesome, man.
It's so beautiful. So we always say in the Loan Atlas, the genius is in the execution. Like all of these tools, everything that Darren just described is available to every single person in this call. You just have to execute around this strategy. And that's why I say this can be a whole pillar of business for you in 2026 if you decide and you execute and you implement. So let's go back before we turn it over to Mike and then over to Edgardo. I want to systematize what you just went through. And you did a beautiful job explaining it. So if we were to systematize this, my guess is you have some time blocked in your calendar on a specific day to go in and do this research. Like systematize what you just walked us through, how that would work in your schedule over a week.
Friday, mid-morning till like 2. There's a lot of work that goes into this, right? So the first part of it is identifying who's on my list, and I'll have a list of people that I want to meet. And that list is always revolving. So I'll just be like, every time I'm in there, it's time for me to go look for new business, I'm in here creating my new list. And I have that list up, and I'm interacting with people on social, etc. Okay. Then on Friday mornings from 10 to 2, I've blocked the time to do the research for the open houses that I'm going to visit on the weekend. And then I'm going to build the bags, and I've got to build the kits. And there's a lot of time that goes into this because you've got to do the scenarios. You've got to do it. But like, you've got to put in the work. I mean, so you just put in the work. Then I build the kits, and then on Saturdays and Sundays, I'm going out and I'm hitting 5 each day when I do this. That's a system. Like, and it is blocked. Like that's what I'm doing on Fridays when I'm going to prospect on the weekends.
So you're looking for the producer that meets your production requirements.
Yep.
You're going in and looking at you because you can also see who they're doing deals with. So you're identifying, is this realtor doing 90% of their business with the same person? No, they're all over the place. They're not in a monogamous relationship with a mortgage lender. Then you're going on social media. Do we have anything in common? Is it worth it for me to put effort into it? Will I like this relationship if I'm able to get the relationship? Then you're looking for a property that they have that's aged. You're looking to see if there's any open house. Then you're building out the different scenarios with all the MBS Highway tools. You're creating the bag, and you're scheduling time to go to the open house on Saturday. Did I miss anything, or is that all the steps that you went through?
That's all the steps. And there's one more thing that will happen. If the agent isn't there, I saw a question in the chat. It's really good. And this actually happens quite often, especially with people like the sample I gave here. If that team agent is not at the open house, which they're usually not, I'm going to do this multiple weekends, and I'm going to get to know everybody on their team that's hosting their open houses, right? And I will tell them, making a joke, I'm kind of stalking, X. I really want to meet them. This is the third open house I've been to. Would you do me a favor? Would you just let them know and let them, like, I just keep doing that until they start talking about me to the team lead. And then when I call and send emails and stuff, they know who I am. And that's helped me meet team leads that I've never met at the open house. And I've done that exact strategy where I've met the team lead and had a great relationship with them because of the same strategy.
So team, look, there's 461 mortgage advisors on this call. Let me just be super real with everybody. The market is not going to save your ass. Only you are going to save your ass. You have to pick these tools. You have to learn them. You have to do the work. You have to do something different. Don't wait for the market to get better. It is incumbent on us to get better, to execute it a higher way. how many other mortgage advisors are walking into that open house and creating that kind of a impact or impression like Darren? He's doing something different. He's executing at a different level and he's getting different results. So if you're not getting the results you want thus far in 2025, or you have bigger dreams than 2026, don't wait for the market to change. We have to change. We have to get better. We have to execute. So, dude, I just want to like applaud you. You took something that we talked about in a coaching session, and you're like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to schedule time on my calendar. I'm going to break away from my family on a Saturday. I'm going to get creative. I'm going to find a way to make an impression. I'm going to find all the realtors that I know that this realtor knows that can give me a warm intro, and I'm going to do the thing. So I just want to give you a massive high five. Congratulations on that. Anything else you want to add before we trail off and move it over to Edgardo, and then we'll come to Mike?
Yeah, the only thing I would say is you're not going to bat 1,000%. Okay. You have to get in the reps. You have to do this. You have to show up and don't be discouraged. You don't need to invest. This thing cost me less than $6. Okay. Like you make one relationship and you've spent maybe a month doing it before you secure one. It's fine. Like you're going to put in time. I got lucky, but then there's also been a lot of dry spells where you just don't make the relationship. It just doesn't feel right. And that's okay. That's better. Then you're not going to waste time working with somebody that you just don't want to work with. So this is just a great opportunity to shake hands. I love what Tim says, belly to belly, and just gives you a great opportunity and just lets you get to know people. It's awesome. So just keep going at it. If you decide to do this, and I guarantee you, if I did it and I started doing it when I knew nothing, like, and so it's like a totally different game for now that we know stuff and we can have like real rich conversations to change their lives and their clients' lives. It's mind blowing what we can accomplish.
You're such a great teacher. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. I bet there's some questions there you might be able to answer in the chat. And then team, we do expect to have plenty of time at the end to get back to open forum questions. So Edgardo, great to see you. You figured out your computer.
Yes.
I'm glad you're here.
Yes.
How's everything going today?
Everything's great. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry I was late.
All good, brother. Glad you're here. Enlighten us, my friend. How are you using this tool?
So I feel bad going after Darren because Darren puts a lot of work that looks fantastic. I am a little bit more reactive when it comes to list reports. Don't get me wrong. And one of the things that I wanted to share with the community here is I have done. So let me start from the beginning. One of the biggest things that I see that's super attractive when I talk about list reports is for team leaders, right? There's a lot of big teams that we work with here. I work with a big MSA that have a bunch of different teams, and a lot of the newer realtors or a lot of the teammates within that group go to each other's open houses and they have the need for flyers, and they have the need for flyers that are co-branded and branded to themselves. So a lot of the teams bring me in when I talk to those team leaders and I show list reports and I show how easy it is, because what I sell with list reports, the value that I think list reports bring to the table is how convenient it is because it's super easy and how fast it is. So I show them that there's really no preparation that they need to have, which, you know, a lot of team leaders, they know that maybe their, realtors are not going to necessarily take a ton of time doing this. They love it and they bring me in to do a presentation on these reports. So at the end of this, I want to share a YouTube link that I have of me going over that presentation, as well as the slides that I have. Yeah, as well as the slides that I have going through that presentation so that everybody can steal it and make them better. I'm sure they're going to make it better, but I have the slides and I have that YouTube link that I found as well. So I'll share that with you.
So that's actually you teaching realtors how to use list reports from the realtor perspective.
Correct.
So valuable. Thank you.
I have a webinar and I have the slides. I have all of that. What I've been doing lately is I use list reports because I constantly get the alerts of, hey, somebody has a listing. But the one that hurts me is, hey, somebody closed with somebody else. So-and-so realtor closed by a transaction with somebody else. And when I log into my list reports, it even hurts even more when it goes like, so-and-so realtor closed 21 transactions in the last 12 months. And I know that the 21 transactions weren't with me. And if you go into list reports, not only it tells you that it wasn't with me, it tells me who it was with, and it gives me the percentage of loans that I was able to do versus all of the loans that they're doing with somebody else. So what I do as soon as I see something like that, is before I got annoyed and I used to delete the notifications, what I do is I send every single realtor that I see that's working with somebody else, I send them a meme. I'm going to show you the meme in a second of not even a meme, a GIF of Pablo Escobar just looking all sad. And I go, this is how I feel when my best realtors closes with somebody else. And that has been the best thing I've done with list reports. It's just
So
guilt realtors into thinking twice before they use another lender because they know unequivocally that they're going to get that text from me. I'm going to show you the meme. Can you guys see my screen?
it's coming up. There it is.
It's a good one.
This is what I sent. And I put together the little that just like that. And like literally, I went through my text. This is what I said. I put, this is how it feels when your best realtor closes along with someone else. And I just send them the meme. And I don't say anything else. Every single time they go, oh my God, and then it's always a story. And I start super light, but real, this turns into me being able to have a real conversation that starts funny, but it's a real conversation of, hey, because this is how it always works, right? It goes, oh my God, they already had a lender, but trust me, it was a nightmare because that's how it always goes. It's not the same as going with you. And I always go, okay, well, why do we need to do in order for you to next time this happens, you send them to me because I'm gonna keep sending you this if you keep closing with somebody else. And it opens up a bunch of different conversations. But I mean, this one liner and this one GIF has given me a lot of conversion.
So I love the angle that you're coming at this from. So you're coming at it from a completely different angle than Darren. I know you're doing some of the things that Darren does, but you're using list reports essentially as like the artificial intelligence that's running in the background around all of the realtors that you're paired with and even the realtors that you're following, right? Like they don't have to accept your pairing for you to be identified if they're having activity. So it's like, all right, I met that person at a realtor open house. We had a connection. I want to do business. They're maybe in another relationship. How do I get reminded to continue to follow up with this person? Well, I follow them on list reports. Every time they have an open house, every time they have a listing, every time they close a transaction, that's my reminder to re-engage that person in some sort of a creative way. Is that what that's how you're describing you're using this?
Yes, and I also want to remind them that I exist, right? Like because this is what used to happen, right? I have a conversation with, and look, this is how I cope with the reason why new agents that I talk to weren't using me. What I tell myself is, I have a conversation with an agent. I have a great conversation. I think I hit it out of the park, right? Like I come back in the office and I'm like, that's it, landed that agent. And a couple of weeks go by, I'm doing my follow-ups, I'm doing the thing, but then they're not sending me business or they're closing with somebody else. So I want to remind them that I exist because the way, again, that I cope with the idea that they're not using me is convenience, right? They're used to somebody else. They're used to picking
Totally.
up the phone and sending a different contact. They're used to giving a different card. So I want to make sure that I'm top of mind with them. So yes, they're top of mind with me, but what this text does is after I do it one or two times, two things happen. They either tell me like, "Hey man, like, like they don't tell me anything, but they just delete me and they're never going to use me." Or the second time, they're going to use me because they know that I'm going to give them, I'm going to give them shit for using somebody else. And they have to think about it twice. And I have it to the point where some of my good agents now call me and go, hey, just so you know, I really tried to send you this guy, but he tells me that this is what's happening. So don't be sending me that meme. And, it helps me get into that conversation earlier.
It's so good. I absolutely love it. Let's go back to the presentation that you're doing for realtors inside the groups that you work with. You're working with the team leads. You're teaching list reports to those agents. So you go through, you teach them, then what happens? Like, what's the continuity after you teach that class? Are you driving them to a first lunch meeting? Are you identifying who the producers are there? Like, what's your process for actually turning that into deal flow?
That's a good point. That's a good question. So I have two other text messages, and I do a lot of group text with them. I put everybody in the group because normally they're smaller groups. They're 10, 10, 5, 15 people, something like that. I put them all in a group. And what I do for the next, I don't know, 6, 7 weeks is on Fridays, I send them a text message about open houses. Just going like, hey, remember, if you're going to sit at an open house, List Report is going to create 25 pieces of marketing and 4 property websites right there for you with your marketing, with everything. You don't have to do absolutely anything. And here's the link of a sample of an open house flyer or an open house website. And then on Mondays, I basically send the same thing, but for listing presentations. So I hit them on Fridays for the open house and on Mondays for a listing presentation. Hey, if you're setting up something for a listing presentation, this is the best way for you to look like you're more prepared than your competition. Because part of the class, what I give in the or what I tell them in the class is like, hey, use list reports before you go to a listing presentation. Come up to the listing presentation with all of this marketing, 4 websites created, all of these things. It's gonna look like you did your homework. And if you think about it, a lot of realtors, what they do when they go into a listing presentation is they talk about their marketing, and their marketing is just a couple of flyers. And this is what they're going to do. But as a realtor, you can go into a listing presentation with already what everybody else is promising to do. You can already have it done and say, hey, you're going to sign this listing presentation today. I'm going to start marketing your listing immediately. Yes, we're going to get updated pictures because the pictures are from the old listing. Yes, we're going to do all these things. But as soon as you sign, I have my loan officer that's going to send it to all of their pre-approved buyers. And we're going to start shooting this listing everywhere because I already did all the marketing for you. So I
Beautiful.
remind them of that on Mondays. And then on Fridays, I remind them about the open house.
Great. How do we turn this into deals? Like, how do you monetize that? Because we're still like, so what the marketer in me is thinking of it like this. It's a funnel. The top of the funnel is the introduction to the realtors you're teaching the class. Then you're moving down the funnel by creating a text thread and continuity and dripping on more value. You're kind of moving them down. But at some point, that has to turn into leads and that turns into closing. So, what's the mechanism that gets it from top of the funnel to we're actually creating a one-on-one relationship and you're sending me deals? Is there another step in that process?
Well, there's a couple ways I see this, right? For my higher users of Lace Reports, and I have a couple of realtors that use it at a high level. They actually use the, text to lead, and we
Yep.
actually get leads from them because they're high users. So I get my first at bat with their leads. So that's
Great.
that's easy. That's low hanging fruit. Not everybody's gonna be a high user, right? Like that's not how it's gonna work. The second thing is the listing presentation is big because the listing presentation, the script that I tell the realtors to give them is what I'm saying. Hey, as soon as you sign, I'm going to talk to my lender and we're going to send this to all of their pre-approved buyers. So I get basically a first introduction to a listing, which I don't know, as far as my career has been, it's been very hard to teach realtors to introduce me to sellers. It's very easy to
Mhm.
teach them to introduce me to buyers, but this is an easy way for them to introduce the idea that they work with us with a loan officer already or with a lender that's going to help them market their listing, which they're a lot more open to that. And I talk about buy down strategies, I talk about all those things, which makes it a lot easier for me to talk to those listings. And then the second thing is I get the first at bat with that with promoting that listing because I get an alert as soon as that marketing kit is done. And if I know that they're doing a marketing kit on a listing presentation and they sign, I can show that to my buyers and it's a lot easier. So I mean, it's the low hanging fruit is my realtors that use it at a high level. The second thing that's been surprising to me is the easiness of how now I'm getting introduced to listing agent to sellers. And then the third thing is I get my first at bat with their listings.
Right on. Great. Appreciate you.
Does that
And
answer the
Garnet,
question?
yeah, totally. One follow-up question, and I'll send it over to Mike. Um, at what point in this process is you're incubating or creating a relationship with these realtors, do you ask for a one-on-one meeting, or is that part of your process?
So I go with you know, the presentation and like the group and the webinar. And honestly, I do a one-on-one meeting as soon as it makes sense and I see a realtor that does enough business for me to do a one-on-one meeting. Because I just tell them like, look, this is of all the stuff that we have to give, all the stuff that I can provide you with, this is the one that's, one click and it's done.
Right.
So it's great, and the value, like I said, is how fast and how easy it is. But this doesn't even scratch the surface of all the stuff I have to give you, or all the stuff that I can give you. So let's go on a one-on-one, and that's where I talk about all the MBS highway flyers and all of different things that we do, which I don't necessarily talk to all of the realtors about that because it's more time consuming for me.
Great, buddy. Appreciate it. Super, super big value. Love, love, love the text. You mentioned two other texts that you send your realtors. If that's
There and there.
something, if oh, it's all in that file, great. And you're going to send that to Diana so we can disseminate it.
Yeah, we'll get it out today.
Yes.
You're the man. Thanks, Edgardo. Appreciate you, brother. All
Yeah.
right.
Send gifts, guys. It's the best.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's a pattern interrupt, right? It's like you're taking what is a nervous conversation, right? I saw you just cheated on me, and you're making it approachable and human and funny, and you're making light of it. It's self-deprecating in a way, and
Yeah.
it opens up a natural conversation that otherwise might be have friction in it, and you're taking out the friction with levity.
Yeah, we have in the team we use that one, and then I know some other people in my team use the Kevin Hart one where he's like, looking to the side like that, like, and that gets a bigger response than any email, anything else we write.
God, next lifetime, I'm going to come back as Edgardo. Good looking, funny, and a high producer. Goodness gracious, this guy. All right, Mike, that's a tough one to follow. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. How you using list reports, brother?
Doing well. Doing very well. Diane, does my sound good, by the way?
Yeah, sounds better now.
All right, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, so gosh, I love list reports. Everything that list reports has done has been just incredible blessing since I was introduced to it way back in the day. Gosh, I want to say it was like 10 years ago, maybe 11. It was before MBS Highway bought it. And I think the team, Diana, Barry, Dan, and the folks that they have working for them just made it better. And I'm just such an advocate for this program. Ways that I've used it, similar to Edgardo, I started following agents and seeing what they're doing. I'm going to steal your idea because it's hard to follow everything you shared, by the way. So I'm going to do my very best, but that GIF is money. I love that GIF. That thing is going to be helpful. But one thing I want to point out is remember what we do here as loan originators, and there's 400 something on this call. One thing I always said about what we do for work is we're B2B for the sake of the client, right? So what we want to do is we want to bless those that we work with in such a way that it gives the client that total epic closing, that total experience. But how do we do that? Because it's more times than not that, yes, we have our spheres, we have those that we work with in our database, but how do we reach out to those that we work with? And the big thing is a realtor database is huge. I can't explain to you guys how many times I've been able to use list reports just in a meeting with an agent, whether it be the first presentation, and just going over one of those things where we'll turn around and say, hey, have you heard of list reports? Or what do you do with your open houses? And then they'll turn around and ask me, well, we create these flyers, we have these things, right? I mean, KW has theirs, Compass has theirs. And so again, going back to B2B for the sake of the client. So I turn around and say, okay, well, did you know that right now, if you have a listing, give me the address. I'm going to enter in your information. It'll do a search. It'll find you. And it'll create a full marketing presentation for you within 5 minutes. And I'll be sitting there at the coffee shop and they'll say, no way. And so within minutes, we'll talk about something else. And I'll get the email from List Reports about, hey, check it out. I'm going to forward this to you. You forward it over to them. If they accept the invite, they then are co-marketing with you if they don't already have somebody. And then now every time they have a listing, it goes live. And now you have a full presentation. Again, you have the postcards. You have the area marketability demographics that it shows, like walk score, where the restaurants are, parks, what the school systems are like. You could also email their support team to take that stuff out. I learned that 10 years ago. Like, hey, if you're in an area where you don't necessarily want to show what the public schools look like, you can have them update that and take that out. You also have the ability to work in your loan product. So if you have rates, payments, things like that, that they're looking for, because 9 out of 10 times, if you talk to an agent, send me marketing material for an open house. Great. List Reports gives you that key, but you could go ahead and then enter in what that loan product looks like for your presentation. These are all things at a high level of what I've used List Reports for. What I've also used it for is like Darren and Edgardo before, looking at your agents. You could follow your agents and who's closing what and how are you, send the text, hey, I love working with you. Is there something we could do better? Right. Or just send the gift. The gift idea is way better. I think, again, it's better to create something that's fun rather than kind of like, hey, I felt like you cheated on me. But I think that's really one of those things that is really helpful. But I think the presentation of it with your agents is huge. Having that coffee appointment, literally creating the marketing material right then in front of them. They'll see how quick it is, how quality it is, the things that including that website. It's an incredible product for just that. The second thing I've used it for, how many folks are in their local chapters or on this call, maybe if they're going to open houses or if they get that, the tour sheet for the Tuesday broker tour, the Wednesday broker tour, what have you. There's a couple things that I actually started doing with my CRM and my phone number that could text individually. But I'll go ahead and load those all into my system. And then it'll give me their names. I'll say tour sheet, let's say 11/18/2025. And then it will send an individual text. Hey, I just saw your open house. It looks like you have something that you're going live with this week. Did you want marketing material or is there something I can help you with? Again, creating that relationship, as I said at the start, B2B for the sake of the client. Even if it's somebody that you don't work with, you're actively reaching out to somebody. You don't necessarily have to jump in the car and go house to house and go to broker tours, but you can simply just use that as a tool, send it out to them and say, hey, you have an open house. Would you like me to create marketing material for it? They say, yes. You go back to the address, you enter it into List Reports. You then create the material, say, hey, I'm going to send this out to you in 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, they have the full presentation ready for them. They're pretty stoked on that and to say, hey, do you have an open house? Do you need anything, any more marketing material? How can I better support you for the sake of your clientele and the clients that we would then work with? That's how personally I've been using it lately. I send out probably, I'd have to go through it, but I mean, I think we send out 20 to 30 of these a week right now, if not more. And it's incredible because they all love it. I have 80 paired agents with this now, growing it exponentially by just loading it. And it's one of those things that you could do to create, again, an item of value. Because what do real estate agents want? They don't want another phone call. I know there's coaching systems. Josh knows I like to make $50 a day. It's really boring to just say, hey, how are you? Every week or every other week, however often you do it, but add an item of value where you could share something with that individual to really encourage your business, to make it feel like you're actually bringing something or trying to bring something to the table to encourage their efforts.
Love it. Mike, in terms of tangible results, would you be able to put an idea on a number of new realtor relationships that you've been able to create or cultivate since you started executing around the list report strategy?
I just thought about this honestly like a month ago. I'm like, why haven't I been doing this sooner? But I'm probably gaining about 10 a week, I'd say.
Like 10 quality conversations a week that you're entering into through
Or
these
text back
efforts.
and forth. You get a question about the property. What do you think about this for FHA? Because we also send out like items of value. I have an appraisal checklist I send out, right? I'll send out Canva templates for people to use and utilize to help grow their business. I'll send these items out throughout, a course of time. And it's just another item of value. And now it's actually in the campaigns I use. Hey, are you in List Reports? I'd love to co-brand and market some stuff with you. Did you want me to build some marketing material or collateral out for you? So it's been helping the weekly one. So yeah, probably about, I'd say 8 to 10 a week easily to just develop conversations because I'm already calling 50 people a day as it is. I've always have 22 years of doing that. I just like doing it. I don't know why I started doing this 22 years ago, but I just like people. And so I like conversations. I love talking with people. Josh, you know that when we talk, I usually talk your ear off. But it's just that whole point, right? What can we do to encourage somebody to develop a stronger relationship? And then if you guys match well, then that's a new partner that you could work with. It's tough for everybody right now, realtors and lenders. So if we could encourage their efforts and just let them know that, hey, we're trying to help them, it's great. Another thing we could use it for is if you think about 2 or 3K products, if you have rehab loans or days on market, if they're increased, what can we do to create that? And if you have a social sphere, if you have people following you on Instagram or Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever it is, start marketing that with them to help bring them up a little bit as well, because you're essentially marketing their product that they have. You may not get the deal up, you may not have the buyer, but you are helping that agent who will remember that, in turn, be blessed by that, in turn, law of reciprocation, work with you in the future for that next buyer.
Great call out. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. I'm going to share the way that I used list reports, and these guys have covered a lot, so it's hard to go last. But I just want to share one strategy that was super effective for me, and I really found it to be a layup strategy because I was asking myself the question of like, when is a listing agent in peak pain? And I developed a strategy around that because when somebody has peak pain, they are looking for pain relief and they are very willing to take your call, your text, or walking into their open house. So I'll talk about that for a minute. I want to answer a few questions around the Loan Atlas. And then my goal is we hang out for about 10 minutes and we answer the rest of your questions. So you've got three incredible mortgage advisors here. Drop your questions in the chat. We're going to have time to answer those. So my strategy was I had time scheduled every Friday morning, part of what I called my prospecting time right after my prospecting time, where I would go through the oldest listings that were in the price range that I didn't want to do like a $7 million listing that's been sitting there for 2 years, right? So I wanted to find a regular price ranged home that had been sitting for a decent amount of time. Now, all of us know that most listing agreements are for 6 months. That means in month 5, as they're about to hit month 6, that realtor knows they're about to be fired, or there's a chance that they're going to be fired because they've been unsuccessful at fulfilling their commitment of selling the home for 6 months. So month 5 was the sweet spot for me. And I would find a handful of homes that had been listed for that period of time. I would then go in and start to build some content out of MBS Highway. I would show the seller concession side by side where I would show, look, if your listing's been listed for 5 months now, it hasn't sold. I'm guessing your seller's getting a little bit more amenable to negotiations. There's a couple ways we can approach this. You can drop the price, or you can use that concession to do a temporary buy down. Let's look at the difference in payment. If you drop the price, the buyer saves $400 a month. If you put that same amount of money towards a buy down, they save $1,400 a month. So I started to create that kind of marketing material. And then just like Darren, I didn't do it as high of a level as he did in terms of like creating that amazing gift bag, but I would go into the open houses with a neighborhood report card, with a seller contribution worksheet that would show the difference between a price reduction and a buy down strategy. I would bring a handful of those materials into the open house. And Darren, I when I originally started teaching about this, I hate cold calling. Like I have a hard time. I'm not as friendly as Mike. Mike can just dial 50 people. He doesn't care about rejection. He's going to get through those. He's going to have great conversations. He has that personality. That wasn't me. That was very low return on energy for me. But if I could find a realtor who was in pain, about to be fired, I could teach them something on how to market this property. Like, hey, maybe we should stop marketing the shutters and the beautiful fence and the new paint. And maybe we should start marketing the fact that you can have a payment that's $1,500 a month less by doing a 3-2-1 or a 2-1 buy down. And I'd start showing them ways to market the property in a different way. And then I would give them kind of like collateral, if you will, to go back to their listing, to their seller, and try to start negotiating a price drop. So what I would do is I would actually show them, here's what a buyer's payment is at 6.5% interest at the $700,000 price that you're selling this house. You've got a $4,800 a month payment with taxes and insurance. Would you pay $4,800 a month to buy this house? Most sellers are like, nope, I wouldn't pay $4,700. So then I would show them, great, let's figure out a strategy that you can contribute towards that's going to drop that payment by $1,400 a month for the first couple of years. Temporary buy down strategy. So I would give the listing agent the information they needed to show how to market the home at a lower price and how to break it to the seller that the reason the home isn't selling is because it's unaffordable. And there are tactical steps that we can take to make this home more affordable. by the way, we need to re-up your listing agreement. So that was my approach. And I'd walk into 3 or 4 open houses on the weekend and had fantastic results with that. Now, what's the point of doing all that? I want to get those realtors to a meeting, right? I want to change the narrative. I want to create curiosity. I want to find them when they're in the peak of pain, and I want to drive them to a coffee or a lunch meeting to find out more about them. Now, many of you may be super comfortable with a first meeting with realtors. Some of you might have a lot of anxiety around it. I found the best coaching around first realtor meetings from Tim Brahim. And I'm going to show you something just really quickly inside of the Loan Atlas that was super helpful for me. This is just the homepage inside the Loan Atlas for those of you that aren't Loan Atlas members. Inside the Loan Atlas, we have the 8 disciplines of origination mastery, which is essential knowledge, systems for selling, marketing mastery. And you can see inside of these, there are teaching modules. So in other words, inside of system for selling, which is all about lead conversion, there's 58 training modules. Inside marketing mastery, which is all about lead generation, there's 33 training modules. And I'll show you what a module is in just a sec. Team building and leadership, systems for customer service, personal discipline number 1, mindset, health and personal development. Personal discipline number 2, time and task management, how to get more shit done in the same amount of hours every single day. And then last but not least, legacy and freedom. Well, inside of this systems for selling, there is an incredible module from Tim Brahim on connection at the first realtor meeting. This changed everything for me because I was going into realtor meetings thinking I had to tell them how awesome I was and just absolutely blow them away. It was a lot of pressure. It didn't work all that well. And this changed everything for me. So I'll just kind of show this as an example. I'll just play 60 seconds of this at 2x speed so you can get an idea of what a teaching module looks like and the level of advice that comes inside of these modules. Mike, if you can hear that, give me a thumbs up, would you? Cool.
Who are you within yourself when you go on a first meeting with a prospective referral partner, a real estate agent, a CFP, a CPA, a life insurance agent, or a divorce attorney? And when I say who are you within yourself, what I'm really asking is, what mindset do you have? What is your agenda and objective? What's the level of energy that you're bringing to this conversation? Are you planned out, well scripted, with a defined set of questions and talking points that you want to make sure that you get to and hit upon, with the desired outcome being that at the end of the meeting they say yes to you? Well, if the answer to your question is yes, then you're actually walking into a trap. That's the big mistake.
Anyways, I'm not going to teach the whole 16-minute module, but what I wanted to share with that is if there's a part of your game that you're aware of is weak, you're not a 10 out of 10, there's a module that Tim or the other faculty members have taught inside of that. And that was just one, as Darren was telling me how he's, going out and meeting these realtors and getting them to the first call. I'm like, great, but then what do you do? And so to the extent that that's helpful, that's one of the many modules. There's over 200 modules inside the Atlas. All right, guys, I'm going to turn this back over for, I think what we need to make sure we have time for in the 10 minutes that we have left. One, we need to make sure that people can't know where to sign up for ListReports if they're not already members of ListReports. And then I'd like to do some Q&A. Diana, do you want to talk about ListReports first?
Sure, happy to for a bit. But before I even get there, I just have to, first of all, thank all you gents here from the Loan Atlas side. It's so kind of you, and you're so gracious to give us so much of your time with our members. So it means a lot to me, of course, Dan, who had to drop, Barry, the rest of our team, and I know all the people watching. So thank you so much. It really means a lot to us. And team, I just want to stress, we do really, stand behind what the Loan Atlas teaches. I just put a link in the chat there where you can get a discounted rate on the Loan Atlas program through being a Highway member. The coupon code is already entered in there for you. The coupon code is ListReports. It takes $100 a month off the original price. You're going to see it there on the page already. So get started with ListReports get started with the Loan Atlas or book a demo with them if you wanted to learn more there. Regarding ListReports, I saw a bunch of you said maybe I have the elite portion of ListReports and not agent intel or vice versa, or maybe you have nothing on list reports, just shoot me an email. It's going to be diana@highway.ai. I just put it in the chat box. We're going to look at what you have now, make sure we get you a very fair discounted rate based on what your existing membership is, and we'll get you started with list reports, whatever you're missing on there. Now, regarding list reports, of course, we'll get you signed up, but you also have training. So this is a great call that the guys went through today on some different strategies through list reports. But in a moment, I'm also going to share a page where you can get more list reports training when it comes to actually clicking through and using the tools, how you should follow agents, how you pair up with them, like the actual mechanics in the system there. I think in conjunction with this webinar you watched today, it should help you a lot in navigating the site. Now, again, I'll answer some questions in chat, put that link that I mentioned, but if you guys want to take it away with some questions, I haven't seen the most recent ones in there, but maybe you see some.
I want to add something if you guys don't mind. Because this was a concern with me when I first started with list reports, and you think flyers and you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna be bombarded by emails from realtors asking me for changes and things like that. The list reports teams, when it comes to customization or answering questions, I just send them to support and it's fantastic. Like it's extremely good. Don't feel like you need to know all the answers. Just send them to the support and they do great. And then the last thing is don't sleep on the shareables either. There's a whole shareable, social shareable portion of list reports. And if you actually click on it, it's pretty cool. There's even lists that you can craft on for realtors to go in and click different, like what houses are over 1 million and what, new listings and things like that. It's actually really cool. My realtors absolutely love it. And then the last thing is somebody put in the chat about, it's hard to find a realtor sometimes because a realtor might have 10 different emails because they've changed to 10 different companies. You also have your own email for you to send to anybody for them to log in and create an account under you as a loan officer. I use that with every single transaction that we do. We send it to the listing agent and the buyer's agent, and we just tell them, like, hey, if you're not on this reports, you're missing out. Check this link out for your free account. And that way you don't have to look for them. You can just send them your personal link.
Great. Love that, Edgardo. Thanks, buddy. Great ad. I do see a question here in the chat that came from Jenny Nix. So thank you, Jenny. She said, and guys, tell me what you're all doing here because maybe you have different approaches on this. She said, I take marketing materials to open houses as well. I'm not finding a way to take the agent a flyer with numbers for the loan and loan scenarios. The only one I see is the open house flyer. I'd like this option that is not just an open house flyer. Is there an option? Also, I cannot seem to make the numbers work on the open house flyers. Can you walk us through how to do this? So maybe Diana, you could take the last piece of that.
Sure.
But guys, how are you putting together actual numbers when you're going to an open house or showing numbers to an agent about a specific listing?
Want me to field that one?
Please.
I use the tools in NBS Highway. So it's outside of list reports. So I'm using loan comparison, cost of waiting, real estate investor tool, real estate report card. That's where I'm getting like putting the loan mortgage strategy plans together, showing the things like you mentioned too, like offer seller concession versus reducing the price. Like all of those things are handled inside of the tools that we have in MBS Highway.
Great
That's
answer.
kind of what I was going to suggest too. I mean, any kind of financing numbers you want to show, that's all going to be in the comparison tools in MBS Highway. We do have another training with this group here on MBS Highway in the coming months. But one thing I wanted to mention, forgive me if I missed it while I was looking at the chat before, but when you're looking at agents and list reports, I do think one really easy way that's very similar to what Darren's strategy is. Of course, Darren puts together a beautiful presentation. It's a lot of hard work that goes into it. If you wanted to just do it digitally for an agent, I think what's so easy is visiting whatever agent's profile. I should hide the person's name here so it's more confidential. But if we scroll over to this action center, one very easy way just to get some bundled content together, including the list reports open house flyer, as well as a number of the MBS Highway tools the guys mentioned, is this Agent Connect Essentials. Right in list reports with a click, you choose the active or recent listing that the agent has, and it'll put it together for you right here automatically with a pre-created note that you can send to that agent. So I think that's a very easy way just to get some content together.
Great call out. There's one other tool that I used very frequently that I don't know everybody's aware of inside of MBS Highway, but I think it's the easiest tool in the market to show this. So if you go up to Loan Advisor and then you go to Seller Contribution, and this will easily enable you to compare the difference between a seller reducing their price or giving that money as a concession to the buyer, which can be used for a temporary buy down. And it calculates exactly what your buy down fee is instantly for you. It does all the math. So I can literally do that seller contribution worksheet in probably 90 seconds. And what I used to do when I was going into these old listings was I would say, okay, look, you've got two options. A, you drop the price 5 or 6%. B, you give 5 or 6%, let's just say 5%. You give 5% towards a seller payment subsidy. So I don't call temporary buy downs 2-1 buy downs. I avoid anything that sounds like mortgage jargon like the plague. So I called it a seller payment subsidy, meaning you can actually subsidize the payment of the buyer for up to 3 years. And you can go in there and say, if I drop the price 5%, I'm going to save 400 or 300 bucks a month, whatever it was. If you use the same 5% and you do a seller payment subsidy, aka 3-2-1 buy down, now you're saving $1,600 a month for the first year. So I would show them that side by side. It's a very quick and powerful tool to use in terms of showing them how to use concessions to move properties.
It's so smart. And also make sure you use the Highway Record studio in MBS Highway so you can record a custom video. That's a good, clean way to share it out to your customers, what Josh is saying there.
Great. Diana, did you, for anybody who is an MBS Highway member but not a List Reports member, I'm sorry if I missed it. Did you show them how they can become a member?
Yeah, I wanted everybody to email me. I see a handful so far. So I see your names on my email right next to me. It's just Diana at highway.ai. I just want to make sure you already have access to something. We give you the right rate. So just email me and you'll hear from me by phone or email today.
Great. Thanks, Diana. Appreciate it.
And I'm sorry, on the same note, though, also today, when we send out the recording from this call, we're going to get the presentation that Edgardo was so kind to share. I guess, Edgardo, a video or slides, whatever you're sharing, we can include in the follow-up.
Yeah, it's a link to a Google Doc, and then within that link, you have the text messages and then the presentation and video.
Perfect. Thanks so much. Yeah, we'll send that out today too, team.
Is this video PG-13, Edgardo? Is it okay? Do we need to make sure children aren't in the room?
None of my videos are PG-13, Josh.
Okay, all right.
You know this by now.
Okay, no children in the room. All right, guys, closing thoughts as it relates to executing around List Reports. Mike, since you're off mute, let's throw it over to you to close us out.
Say something. Honestly, List Reports is such a gift. It's I think a huge tool, a huge asset. There's things I check every single morning. We just touched on a bit of what List Reports could do. And I think that's important to remember. But there are certain things I look at every morning. I look at MBS Highway, I watch the video, I analyze it, I run it against a couple of other analysts, then I usually write a blog about what's going on in the markets. I look at List Reports, right? I think MBS Highway's entire suite is incredible, but this one's incredible. I think if anything else, MBS Highway and this are the two things that every loan officer on this call should have. And the reason why is you check it every morning. If you need social media stuff, a lot of people have difficulty in creating what we call, kind of just a thing of value to share on social media. I share their stuff through my Hootsuite. I schedule it out every single day. There's tags and things. If you follow List Reports on Instagram, I share that on my story feed to keep my story feed fluid. And there's always things being shared on my story feed. The thing that we can check on properties, you can follow your agents. You can create marketing packages. If you have a new open house coming up, it'll email you saying an open house. I had 3 of them today. And I reached out to agents. Do you need anything for your open house? Is there any way I can support you for your open house aside from the product that you have in List Reports? So these things are things that will continue to help you engage with your partners. Again, B2B for the sake of the client. This is a great way that you can bring items of value and continue to encourage your client base. So I think I'm a huge fan of it. If you're not signed up for it, connect with Diana ASAP. Trust me, this program will definitely bless you.
I love the idea of going into list reports every morning and just kind of having like a digest of all your realtors are up to. Who sold the buy side? Who got a new listing? Who sold the list side? What are the reasons why I can contact those realtors today? That's a brilliant idea. Edgardo, over to you. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, what I would add to that is look, MBS Highway gives such high level advice, right? Like you have all these high level tools that we get all excited about, and we believe that it's the most important thing that we need to show our clients and our realtors. And I believe that. List reports is just an easy way for realtors to perceive value immediately.
Mm,
Okay. You don't have to explain anything. You don't have to understand how the markets work or anything. I don't care if you're one day in the business or it's very easy to understand that as soon as you have a listing, without you doing anything, you're going to get an email with a bunch of marketing. That if you want to go to a listing presentation, you plug in an address and you're going to get a bunch of marketing. Every morning when you wake up, you have a bunch of things that you can pick for you to share. So sometimes we get over complicated with things and we forget that having a single property website is huge. Having a shareable post every single day is huge. Being able to have flyers is huge for realtors. And what I love more about this is I don't have to do absolutely anything. I have 197 paid agents that love this thing. So just use it and I don't have to do any extra work for that. And I can spend my time talking about the MBS highway and having my VA or me creating the most important flyers with diems and all that with the agents that I want to, but all of the other agents are still getting that quick list reports right away. So I mean, I love it because of that.
beautiful. Great closing thoughts. Darren, over to you.
Based piggybacking a little bit off of Edgardo, what I've noticed here that's been a great help as well is staying engaged with the agents that I work with because they're getting this in their inbox all the time, the daily updates and all that. And that is just keeping us, it helps put us a little bit on autopilot of staying top of mind. So they're getting hit from me on list reports. I sign them up for the tools of all the tools that we have accessible for them. So for their own house, they're getting dripped on me from that. They're getting hit from me from social. So like this is just a great, great, great tool to start the process of helping us identify the people that we want to partner with and work with and help collaborate with to build businesses. It's been awesome. It's one of the first things I signed up for, and I'm just stoked to be a part of this and the family, dude. This is just amazing. So just go do it. You got to execute. That's the thing, man. Just go do it.
Yeah, perfect. You stole the words out of my mouth. Like what I've realized with working with and coaching top producers is they're not smarter than anybody else. They just execute faster, right? They don't have a fear of failure. They just jump in, they execute fast, they iterate faster, they learn faster, and from those results, they continuously improve. So the genius is in the execution. You all have the tools. Hope you make this a part of your business plan for 2026. And as always, Diana, thanks. And Dan and Barry and the whole MBS crew, thanks so much for having us. It's a pleasure to be here and coach you today.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you. Love you guys and really appreciate everything you give our members and to our members that are very special to us. Of course, our main goal is just providing you value. So that's why we bring the ladies and gents at Loan Atlas. Of course, today we just have the gents on today from Loan Atlas to give you any kind of value we can bring to you and help you use the tools a lot better. You have them. We want to help you use them. And like Darren said, just go and do it. So, team, we'll send you the recording. We'll send you everything else that was promised. And I have to mention that on December 4th, we're going to have a call with Tim Brahim where he's going to go through, or forgive me, not December 4th. I think I'm lying. No, it is December 4th. December 4th at 12 o'clock Eastern time, we're going to have a call with Tim Brahim, a 75-minute session. It's going to be a beefy one where he goes through the plan, the business plan that you should be creating for 2026. You do not want to miss that one. We'll reach out to you many times ahead of that and to make sure that you're registered for that. If you need anything, though, as always, you reach out to me, reach out to the team, and we're happy to help. But team, great session.
Diana, if I could, just I
Please.
appreciate you bringing that up. In that December 4th, Tim is going to introduce you all to a brand new tool that the Loan Atlas is launching, which is an AI fueled business and life planner. There's over 2,000 action items that Tim has handwritten And I think that the number of goals is somewhere in the neighborhood of 600 or 700 goals. Don't quote me on that, but it's an obscene number of goals and action items. He's curated this over the last 20 years of coaching, and he's infused AI to make not only the planning of your business and life plan for 2026 easier to plan, but the accountability. It has an AI follow-up tool that he's going to be introducing. It's a total game changer. So if you want to have a successful business and life plan for 2026, you definitely, thank you, Luke. Bring me back to reality. 88 goals, 979 actions. Hey, divide by 2. Thanks, Luke. Appreciate it. But I think it's going to be a game changer tool. So make sure you're there for December 4th event. Thanks, Diana.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Team, thanks so much for joining. Appreciate your time. And I'll get back to you today if you emailed me. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you. Great job today.